Alright guys, we're going to kick it on off with ASTRA, and I did put a previous video out more focused on ASTRA. If you want to check it out, I'll leave a link below or put a link in the on the end screen for it. But they did successfully reach orbit with their LV-307 rocket, and I think this is set to blast off. The fact that we had quite a bit of a pullback last week is also going to help this just go on a tear. I think it's set up very nicely. And looking at the chart, I did add this little diagonal pattern here. I think it's going to break out of it pretty quickly, honestly. I think there's clear positive sentiment about this. There's definitely a lot of people curious about this one, ready to jump in. And just the fact that a lot of people sold out because they had to delay it, that sets this in even a better position because it's not a buy the rumor, sell the news. If it was, then maybe this would already be like 12, 13 bucks or something. But I definitely see this running, and I'm very, very confident in that. Could be wrong, though. And next up, I want to touch on Disney. You will look that the RSI on a lot of accounts is oversold. We're oversold on the 6-month, very close to oversold on the 3-month. We are working our way up, and we're curling up on, the 1 month, 5 days, a little up still. But I could definitely see Disney run. And when you look here where it's actually at, if you go back, you will see back here that this was a little spot of consolidation while it was running up. It did start consolidating here, and I think that is partly the reason it seems to be trying to consolidate. Now, it is kind of still a falling knife. It could come down a little bit farther, and if it doesn't hold this support here where it's at, I think we could see probably 145 or so. I'm personally long-term with Disney, so I'm happy to buy it here, although I do think it could pull back a little bit more. So just keep this one on your radar, guys, but I will be buying it next week. And next up, looking at Caterpillar, ticker on that is CAT. I will also be buying this as well. You will see that the MACD is curling up. We are very near that oversold territory. Like technical wise, I do like where the RSI is at right now, and I do like that the MACD seems to be curling upwards. And you will see that it was a falling knife. We got into the infrastructure news. It actually didn't do very well. I noticed that the infrastructure news, I was expecting this to run, and it actually didn't. So it seems like it was a buy the rumor, sell the news, because if you look over the last couple months, over the last month or so, it did have a nice little run here. But I do like it where it's at. I definitely do. And you will see max downside for this one, in my opinion, would be about 188. We do have a very strong support, which it bounced off quite a few times before running upwards. So you could keep an eye on this one if you want to be a very patient investor. Maybe put a limit buy at like 195 or something. But I can't tell you what to do. This is what I would personally do. Although I am picking up where it's at. It does seem like it's trying to consolidate. But we will see where this one goes. And next up, we've got one of my favorites. That's none other than Cleanspark. Ticker on that is CLSK. And they did actually just receive 2,597 miners. And that's going to increase their total hash rate currently to 1.3 exahash, and that's actually ahead of what their schedule was. They're a little ahead of schedule for what they expect, so this is just fantastic news. I love to see it. And another thing to think about is Bitcoin is actually on a nice run. And of course, I'll leave the articles below for you guys so you can go ahead and read them yourself, but it is very exciting to see that they purchased more. This does actually add to the 2,700 rigs that are already purchased and scheduled for delivery this month. Very good to see. Very exciting stuff. I'm definitely very, very highly convicted in Cleanspark. My portfolio says it all. This has got to be about 10% of my overall position, and I don't really like to go that heavy on a stock, but I'm very convicted in Cleanspark. I absolutely loved it when it was back like 11, 12, $13. I couldn't help myself and just had to scoop up more at that price. And looks like we are starting to bounce off of oversold on the 5-day and 1-day. 1 month, 3 month, and 6 month, we're kind of right in the middle there. But it is nice to see that the MACD is curling up. You will see the MACD curling up, which is a nice sign. I think our next resistance is going to be about 20 to 2050. So once we can break that, I think we will move higher. And then we will test about $23. But I definitely love this one. And another thing to take note of is Bitcoin is testing that $60,000. This did sell off quite a bit compared to where it was previously. And this was because Bitcoin was cooling off. Bitcoin was coming down towards that 57 or so. And, it was just a negative pressure on this one. But I will definitely be looking to scoop this one up. And I don't know how bullish some of you are on Bitcoin, but I do believe Bitcoin will, over the coming months, retest those highs. I feel like without a doubt, we constantly are getting more and more positive catalysts with Bitcoin. And I'm thinking about buying some more calls on this one, preferably like 2022s, maybe 2023s, because where the price is at, I just feel like there's limited downside. Sure, we could come back down. Maybe the earnings will come up here soon and we'll have more executive-based compensation, which would be, definitely a detriment to the stock price. Just like previously, which was, I believe, right about here was the last earnings. Yeah, right here was last earnings, and it caused a huge, quite a bit of a sell-off here. But I don't see it coming back in this price range. I really don't. I think it's going to definitely go higher, especially if Bitcoin can touch 60 and work its way back up. I'm very bullish on Cleanspark, though, for the long term. Just love this one. And finally, checking out Senseonics. I've just been starting to cover this one and get into it, especially where it's at here. I did start talking about it right about 370 or so. But definitely love Senseonics. You'll see that the MACD is curling up, and you will see that the RSI is bouncing from oversold as well. And I do like it where it's at. I think we're going to find a resistance of about 375 when it does move higher. And you will see what almost looks like a W trying to form. I think it will move higher this week. We could have a sideways week, but long term, I'm definitely bullish on Senseonics and the products they're creating that will be revolutionary for the diabetic community. But that's basically all I got for you guys. A quick update on the stocks I will be buying this week, this Thanksgiving week. But I wish you guys luck on Monday. I hope you guys do great, and I will see you on the next one.